We are at Morehouse Farm in Oakle-Pitchett, Herefordshire, and we as a family have been here since 1873. My granddad used to grow cider apples, and he grew them for Bulmers up until 1921. He said, look, you're reneging on your price, I'm reneging on supplying you with apples. I'm going to pull all my orchards out and plant hops, which he did. And so I basically grew up as a hop grower. The cider making thing was something that we didn't do for many, many years. I started making cider again on the year when we finished growing hops here. And that was because hop picking and cider making, though some people managed to do both successfully, I just didn't feel that was something I could put enough time and effort into. So 1999 we started again, and my reason for starting again was that I was a big enjoyer of cider and perry, and I was feeling that my choice for cider and perry was getting smaller and smaller, with less and less people making it, and the sort of cider and perry I wanted was sort of disappearing. And so I thought, you know, perhaps I can have a go. I went and attended and made cider with some of the old boys around here, a couple of which were really invaluable to me. They showed me a lot of the great things you can do, and they showed me a lot of the really appalling things you can do, and I learned a lot. Get your apples right, get your yeast right, and away you go. And in essence, that's been the approach that I've taken all the time. We solely use wild yeast, and we don't use any sodium metabisulfite until bottling. I think it makes potentially the best cider and perry. We press about 100,000 litres of juice a year, maybe a little bit more this year. I think it's heading in that direction, but we'll see. That is split between cider and perry. The amount of cider and perry varies depending on the season. So some years it's more perry than cider, other years it's more cider than perry. We source our fruit locally, 10% from here, 90% from elsewhere. At the moment there's about 16 different bottled ciders and perries, and probably a dozen different draft ciders and perries. One I always tend to start with, which is a Herefordshire dry cider, and it's a vintage 2013. It's the best of our bittersweet and bitter sharp apples that we have. It's bright, it has been filtered, and I can smell it already. It's got a real heady combination of barrel, and that's both the oak, the vanilla and the oak, and then there's a real sort of a deep muscovado brown sugar with a hint of apple skin. So what I'm getting now is that apple skin thing is coming through even stronger. I've got that hint of vanilla that you got on the nose is there too. There's a little hint of sourness, a little hint of bitterness, and all of it is just in a real, as I say, this really nice apple skin background. Dried fruit, Christmas pudding type fruit thing going on as well. And I just think it's just one of the nicest dry ciders. Cheers. Where we're seeing our real inroads are London, where there is a real born-again interest in real cider and perry. We're talking, you know, the sort of semi-cloudy, full juice, which people really are enjoying because they're loving the variety of tastes that you can get from it. We do a bit of export. Probably 20% of what we make goes to America. We started exporting there 8 years ago. We've got a small market because we can't send very much, but they love it, and I'm very glad that they do. The cider industry itself gone through a great period the last 5 or 6 years. For me individually, it's fascinating. We work, you know, incredibly hard, lots of hours, trying to be as imaginative as possible, trying to do everything properly, but at the same time, really what interests me and excites me is the actual making of the cider and perry, the blending of it, the fruit, and getting all those things right, the things that are the skill for me and the fun.